All right, morning everybody. It is actually Thursday, 9/11, September, right? Uh, Still here in Florida, and let's see. Anyway, I want to go over a couple subjects here today. And sorry, my voice is a little hoarse. I think I caught a little cold or something like that, so bear with me. Um, we're gonna go back into the discussion of the actually a further breakdown of the S4F SBP, but specifically in regards to the three shapes or three circles that we have and each of its main function. So, like I've talked to you about before, everything starts from the source. So if you can imagine that this is like the first ball, first circle that you start from here. The top one we'll call um, a second circle, and the bottom one we'll call the third circle. So one, two, three. The order, other than this one, I don't want to say this should be referenced as two or this should be referenced as three or vice versa. As long as this is first, both play a significant role. I'm going to talk exactly what it is about it that makes it everything special. So why you need to retain the shape of the three balls at all times, because one, individually they have their own job, main function, but together as a three, as a unit, they have to work with each other, and each one has a specific job and how they actually work with each other in order to make your motions work properly. So first, we know with the first ball why the shape is so important. The shape is so important because this first shape, the first ball, when the source comes out, the main job of this is actually for distribution of power, right? Like whenever this, whenever you initiate a motion, in order for you to get an even flow to the hands and an even flow to the legs, it has to start here from the source. If it doesn't start here from the source, you can make it look pretty good from the hands, but even the best fake version or best simulation of the top hands or the top circle, there's a little compensation that's not exactly perfect with the lower part or even the central part. So that's why the center's main goal is to actually distribute everything equally. Without that, you can come close to it, but it's not exactly right. Will it work? Yeah, you can make it work. But if someone's actually distributing it equally, you actually stand no chance. Okay? The top ball in itself, when you look at it, it has its main function too. Its main function is when you create the circle, anything that comes to the circle and you seal the ball will be what you can say drilled out of the way, right? So if the force comes in, we drill it out of the way. If the force comes in, top, bottom, left, right, doesn't matter. It never actually penetrates into our center of gravity. If this ball doesn't function correctly, let's say you land, then the implications of that will be basically you'll get pinned. Okay, so in order to protect the lower ball or your center of gravity, all in all, this ball has to have its function in place. Always protecting the top protects the force from allowing you to get pinned. If you find yourself getting pinned, this ball has lost its function. This ball has probably lost its shape as well. Okay. The third ball, the legs, has a function too, right? This ball's purpose basically has center function. Look at it, two forms of center function. One, it always makes sure that you're aimed at your target. Wherever your hands is, it'll reset you back to the target as long as this is functioning, and it does it automatically. If the ball is not there, you manually have to force yourself to turn in. But if the ball, the shape is there, if the force turns you, you automatically switch in. But two forms of center function. One, resetting it back to the target, but two, center function also is to maintain the vertical in place, right? So this has its function, making sure like if you find yourself going forward, going back on this, then basically what does that tell you? This has lost its function. This has lost its shape. So this lower ball, right, in turn protects the center of gravity and also the upper ball from swaying back and forth. Okay, so notice that it actually both have like an inverse effect with each other. Top ball protects this and this everything below it from getting pinned. The lower ball protects this and this from what? Swaying back and forth and losing target. All right? And then finally, we have the combination of the top ball and the bottom ball. In order for this to retain its shape, right? When you have this shape, yes, this starts from the source, but there's that stretch that occurs that covers that center ball to maintain it. If you lose the shape of that, then guess what? The distribution of power between the top and bottom and vice versa is not naturally completed. So you can see that each one of the balls has to be retained, has to be maintained, has to be protected, and has to be created in order for you to have a natural shape of things. Okay? So just to reiterate exactly what we do. If you're feeling pinned, that means the top ball is not working. Okay? It's not drilling off the force from you. If you feel yourself leaning forward and back, right? That means the bottom ball lost its shape, lost its function, right? Because it's not keeping you vertical and keeping you steady and stable. Okay? If you feel, right, that when the top ball and bottom ball are not working together, right, then you basically lost the shape, this main shape from the source, to retain the unity between the two. Okay, this has to be maintained. This is like primary. This has to be maintained, right, first. But when you distribute it out, once it starts shooting out, once ball one starts activating, ball two and three, or 2 and 3, or 3 and 2, whichever version you want, has to be activated at the same time as well. And then when you have that unity together, then you have the automatic response. And that's your overall goal, right? To have the automatic response, not to your opponent, right? Like, for example, he gives you a force and I'm responding to that force. The automatic response is basically based on what you've created for yourself. Responding to yourself is faster than responding to the opponent's force. That is 1% of the 99 that you only need for you to know the flow. All right, so hopefully that clears everything up. The importance of creating the shape properly, also maintaining the shape, and each individual function of the shape. All right, later.